So yesterday I talked about 10 decks that I feel got buffed by the recent Forbidden and Limited list, and this list had 16 changes, so a lot more than the last list, which only had 3 changes. But in today's video, I don't want to talk about all 16 changes. I don't really want to talk about any one particular deck. I want to talk about the 5 individual changes that I feel are going to make the biggest impact on the current Yu-Gi-Oh! Metagame. Now, this was not easy narrowing it down because there were a lot of exciting changes, a lot of cool changes, but these are the ones that I feel are going to be the most noticeable immediately and several months down the line. But first, let me tell you about today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by the one, the only Ridge wallets. A lot of people carry around those gross, outdated, bulky leather wallets, but the Ridge wallet is none of those things. It's sleek, it's industrial, it's new, and it makes for the perfect upgrade from your older wallet. It can easily hold up to 12 cards. There's a convenient money clip on the back for carrying cash, and Ridge wallets even have a lifetime warranty, so you'll never need to buy another wallet. The Ridge team is so confident that you'll like it that they'll let you try it out for 45 days, and you can send it back for a full refund if you don't absolutely love it. If you're interested in picking up a Ridge wallet, make sure to click the link in the description below, and don't forget to use promo code Dzeeff in all caps for 10% off your order. Anyway, at number 5 we have the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, everyone's favorite broken Link 3 monster, and I saw a lot of discussions where people were talking about, will Konami bring this card back because of Phantom Rage? And I was pretty skeptical, and I still think this card might not be fair enough to bring back even right now. I know the format is a lot different from when this card was originally banned a while ago, but still, this card is extremely scary. It's extremely generic. Pretty much any deck that is playing dark monsters can make it. It probably should have required a Phantom Knight as one of the materials, but as it stands right now, a lot of decks can make this card, and it is a pretty big plus in card advantage. Right now, you'll probably see decks like Burning Abyss maybe play this card, and possibly Orcus as well. A lot of people are talking about Orcus right now, and this is one of the cards that makes them even better, so I would look out for that deck at tournaments or online play in the upcoming weeks. That being said, this card gets even better when Phantom Rage is released. We get more Phantom Knight support, and this card is a huge boss monster for that deck, or any deck that's splashing it as an engine. I think this card almost certainly will see competitive play, if not now, at least when Phantom Rage is released. As someone who is a big fan of Phantom Knights, you know, it's pretty exciting to see their boss monster back into the game, but as someone who remembers when this card was legal and how it was played in certain combo decks, I am a little bit worried that this card might be too powerful right now. Next up, we have Called by the Grave, everyone's favorite anti-hand trap quick play spell card, but obviously it has other uses as well. First released as a super rare and a special edition as a preview card for an upcoming core set, it was released as a common in that core set, of course, and then Konami reprinted it a couple times as different rarities because this really was one of the biggest staple cards of the last couple of years. Pretty much no matter what format you're looking at since this card was released, you'll find some top tier and rogue decks running this card, but even down to more casual strategies, a lot of people really did enjoy playing Called by the Grave. It was a great anti-hand trap card, it was good in a lot of situations. This truly was an excellent staple choice for a lot of players. Konami even has hit this card before. It was semi-limited for a little while before going back to 3 copies per deck, but now Konami has decided to limit it pretty much out of nowhere. It might be because Triple Tactics Talent was just released, and that does do a similar thing. It plays a similar role for many decks. Not exactly the same though, because Called by the Grave was better at pushing plays through, whereas Tactics doesn't really push the original play through, but it gives you more options if your opponent hand traps you. But they're similar enough to where I can see Konami maybe not wanting people to have a total of 6 copies in their deck, and also maybe this is foreshadowing a crossout designator release in the TCG. That's another really good anti-hand trap card, and right now we don't know when it will be released in the TCG. We really have no idea, but maybe Konami has limited Called by the Grave so that they can release that, and then they didn't want like too many anti-hand trap cards in the same format. I don't really know. Regardless, I think a lot of players will feel the loss of 2 copies of this card if your deck was not able to play through hand traps as well as the top strategies. This is going to hurt you quite a lot, especially if you're a budget player that can't afford Triple Tactics Talent. I think the card still will be played at 1 copy copy per deck, it'll just be a Saki 1 of instead of being a staple 3 of in many decks. Next up, of course, we have to mention Harpy's Feather Duster going to 1 copy per deck after being banned for many years. This was an old school card that was obviously way too powerful, and now it's back at 1 copy per deck. I am slightly confused because I've seen a lot of comments from people saying that this card will not see play in 2020, and I think that's kind of weird. And we know that's weird because when we look at the OCG format, I mean, pretty much everyone is side decking this card, sometimes even main decking it depending on the format. These days, yeah, it'll be like your 4th copy of Lightning Storm, or maybe a better way to look at it is that Lightning Storm is your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. That being said, I think this card is very game changing, especially against back row decks. Now more than ever, I think back row decks really have to play cards like a Pointer of the Red Lotus, or Waking the Dragon, or Trap Trick for one of those, maybe even Starlight Road, I don't really know. If you're trying to play a back row deck right now, you really do have to face the reality that your opponent is going to have Lightning Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster, maybe evenly matched, maybe Cosmic Cyclone, maybe Red Reboot, maybe Twin Twisters, and 3 copies of Solemn Judgment is not enough by itself to beat all those cards. Back row based decks with other forms of negation, maybe even cards that are part of the archetype like Totally Awesome or Subterra Fiendus, are going to be better long term over back row decks that have to draw unsearchable traps to beat cards like Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster. Duster is obviously a very powerful card, especially played alongside other back row removal, and back row decks are going to have to adapt, especially in the coming weeks, because pretty much everyone is going to be playing Duster in their side deck. Next up, we have Block Dragon, of course, you know, the card that everyone has been asking to be banned for quite a while now, pretty much ever since Adamancipators were released, and I'm actually probably going to have a dedicated Block Dragon discussion video going over its history in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe this week, hopefully before next week. But yes, Block Dragon is banned now and people are very happy. Block Dragon not existing doesn't automatically make Adamancipators a terrible deck. They certainly do still have a lot of really powerful combos, but Block Dragon was a huge reason that deck was so strong. I'm not really sure how popular Adamancipator will be after this ban list because, as we're going to talk about in just a few moments here, Block Dragon was not the only card that they played that was banned. At the end of the day, even if Adamancipators are still part of the format, they will be played very differently because they do not have Block Dragon. This was such a huge piece of many of their combos. They were searching it, they were equipping it with Union Carrier, they were summoning it over and over again. This card was a huge reason that Adamancipators were a competitively successful strategy. A lot of people, myself included, are very happy to see Block Dragon gone from the format, and I'm really curious to see what happens to Adamancipators without this card. And finally, I couldn't decide which one of these was more impactful, so we have Jet Synchron and Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion. So these cards were obviously played together in a lot of decks with Crystron Helki Firebrax and Link Cross and Herald of the Arclight and Borreload Savage Dragon. These were some really important combo pieces for pretty much any deck that was comboing this format. No matter if it was Mermails or Adamancipators or Rockets or Infernal Knights, one or both of these cards were pretty much always present. I think O-Lion actually was more popular than Jet Synchron, as we saw more decks stop using the Jet Synchron and tuning engine in their strategies, but still, both of these cards were extremely popular, and I don't think anyone is too sad to actually see them go. I've seen some comments from like Mecha Phantom Beast players and Synchron players, but realistically those decks weren't very good anyways. I mean, not even really on the competitive map, so I don't think that that's a huge difference, but these cards were extremely splashable and they will be banned because Konami has not banned Crystron Helki Firebrax. This brings it up to what, like 5 cards or 6 cards that have all been banned because Konami has not hit Helki Firebrax. It's very similar to Firewall Dragon and what happened with that card, where Konami hit a whole bunch of cards before banning the Firewall Dragon itself. I don't know when Helki Firebrax will be banned, but right now Konami seems to just want to hit the cards that make it the most unfair. I think that Jet Synchron is easier to replace than O-Lion because Jet Synchron could really be anything. I mean, it could be Plague Spreader Zombie, it could be a number of powerful tuner monsters, but I think that O-Lion is a pretty big loss because that was the one that you were special summoning right right from your deck with the Mecha Phantom Beast Link 3 monster, and while there are other Mecha Phantom Beast cards that you could special summon, this one was always the best option because it had that token generating effect when it was sent to the graveyard. Overall, I think we're going to see a pretty big shift in how people are using Hellkey Firebacks and Link Cross. I'm sure that they're still going to be around. I'm sure that they will be very, very popular, but now people will have to find new combos to take advantage of their effects. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.